Welcome to the training on entering a resource record, Form 6455, into the In-Kind Donations Gift Management System. At the end of this course, you will be able to complete a 6455 resource record on the IKD Gift Management System, properly name the 6455 file by using the naming convention outlined, and upload additional files that are associated with the IKD donation in the gift management system. A resource record, Form 6455, must be prepared whenever a good or service is donated that is valued at $250 or more. As part of the sourcing activity, responders will be tasked with entering 6455s into the gift management system and performing associated tasks. To access the gift management system, you must be assigned to a disaster response operation within sourcing and request access through the IT portal on OneSource. In addition, there is a sandbox or a training version of the gift management system. Responders can use the sandbox to practice the processes described in this video. For more information on accessing the sandbox, please contact the National Headquarters In-Kind Donations Unit at ikdunit@redcross.org. Begin by logging into the gift management system and selecting the Resource 6455 form. The form can be accessed from two different areas, from the red bar at the top or in the blue box at the bottom right. After selecting the Resource 6455 form, navigate to the donation entry information. Enter the following information for the donation received. Service type. Choose Disaster Relief Operation. DRO number, line of service. Select the DRO for which this donation is for from active DROs listed. Priority area. Select DRO. DRO will default. Status. Select Received. The Resource 6455 is entered after the product or service is received. Once Received is selected, Gift Delivered Date will open. Gift Delivered Date is also known as Received Date. This is the date the product or service is received on the DRO. Click on Calendar and select Date Delivered. The declined date and referred date should be left blank. They are not needed for DRO activity. When entering the donor information, begin by selecting New or Existing Donor. Select New for a local donor or one-time donor. Select Existing for a managed donor. For existing donors, type donor name in the accounts box. Choose from the drop-down list. If multiple donors with the same name are listed, choose the Parent Account option, which is listed on the second line of the donor address. If the address of the donor is the same as the donor information, click to check should this contact receive the acknowledgement. If the address of the donor is different than the parent account, uncheck should this contact receive the acknowledgement. You will see different addresses for many large corporations: Walmart, Amazon, Target, Home Depot, etc. For example, often the fulfillment activity on a disaster response operation receives donated snacks from a local Walmart. In that case, uncheck should this contact receive the acknowledgement, and add the local store name and address in the next section. As mentioned in the last slide, if the address of the donor is different than the parent account, enter the acknowledgement donor information. Include local store contact name and address. Do not enter a title like store manager. The store contact's name is required. If the donor is new, a new account needs to be created. Enter all required information. This is marked by a red asterisk. Since this is a new donor, a donor name and address will always need to be entered. Also, the box "Should this contact receive the acknowledgement" should always be checked for a new donor. After the donor information is entered, contact details need to be entered. The contact details will be the main contact for the donor. Choose from existing or new contact. For existing donors, choose from the list of existing contacts. If the contact isn't listed on the DRO resource tracker, check with the National Headquarters IKD unit for the primary contact. For new donors, enter all required information. This is marked by the red asterisk: first name, last name, phone number. Enter the product service information. All areas marked with a red asterisk are required. Impact. For all donations on the DRO, select Budget Relieving. Product service description. Enter a detailed description of the product or service. Examples include variety of sweet and salty snacks and bottled water. Quantity. Enter the quantity that was donated. The smallest unit of measure is best. For example, each is preferred versus case, trailer, or pallet. Total value. Enter total value of donation. Do not enter a $sign as it will be automatically generated. Value basis. Select the option that the value of the donation was based on. Options include donor, Red Cross, retail, wholesale, or other. If you choose other, you must fill in the box that populates. If alone. Check the If Alone box only if the resource was loaned. When the box is checked, select the drop-down for either rental, forklift, pallet jack, etc., or facility, shelter, headquarters, warehouse, etc. The loan section will also need to be completed later in the process. In the second column in this section, fill out the following sections. Donation category. Select the category that best describes the donation. Choose Other if not listed. Choosing Other requires a description in the box that appears. Donor intent. Enter how the donor would like the donation to be utilized. A broad intent is best as this will be populated on the acknowledgement letter to the donor. For example, a donor intent for a variety of snacks could be to support shelter feeding. Unit type. Select unit to match with quantity of donation. For example, 24 each or 1 case. Value per unit. This field is automatically generated when the quantity and total value are entered in the previous column. Transportation provided by. Select how the donation was transported to the receiving location. If the donation was picked up at a store, choose Red Cross. Complete the origin information section. Your name should auto-populate in the Red Cross IKD representative section. If not, enter your name. Unsolicited. If the donation was unsolicited, check box. Source, select DRO. Selected DRO. This field will autofill from the DRO number filled in at the top. If nothing shows up, Go to the top of the form to confirm the DRO number was entered in the first section. Enter usage information. This information can be found on the 6409 requisition. Primary end user, activity. Identify the activity on the disaster response operation that will use the product or service, i.e., fulfillment, mass care, DES, feeding, sheltering, etc. Need by date. This date should be listed on the Disaster Requisition Form 6409. If not, work with the requester to obtain this date and time. Recipient name, title. Enter the POC from the 6409 along with their title on the disaster response operation. This is who is receiving the donation. Recipient phone, email. Enter recipient phone and email if known, not required field. Distribution usage plan. Enter plan if known, not required field. Enter the following information for the second column. Receiving address. Enter street address. Receiving address to. If applicable, enter the second line of address, i.e. suite, apartment, etc. Receiving city. Enter city. Receiving state. Enter state. 2-letter USPS abbreviation. When typing in, it does not show but will populate when you hit enter. Drop trailer required. Check box if required. Leave blank if live load. Approval representative. Enter authorized signer from 6409, bottom of 6409. Enter as name, Gap, i.e. John Doe, AD Logistics. Fill out the loan information only if items are borrowed or rented. Loan contact name. Enter donor contact for loan rental equipment facility. Phone number. Enter donor phone number. Expected return date. Enter expected return date. Actual return date. Enter date returned to donor. If not yet complete, this can be left blank and added later. Quantity and length of loan. Enter time of loan, rental, 1 month, 2 weeks, 5 days, etc. Enter shipping details. Not all fields are required. Transportation paid by. Select from the list who paid for transportation. If unsure, contact your DRO supervisor and/or the National Headquarters IKD unit. If picked up, choose Red Cross. The following fields are not required, but enter details if you have the information. Trailer tracking number, carrier name, carrier contact, carrier phone. Excess donated product should be handled according to donor intent and documented accordingly. Leftover product. If product is left over, reread the donor intent field in the product section. You must notify the donor if their original intent cannot be honored. Ask for their revised intent, i.e., can the product be passed through to another Red Cross unit or nonprofit agency? Choose No if the donor doesn't want product returned or states specifically who to pass the excess donation to after the DRO. Disposition. Damaged or spoiled product is salvaged. Some products may be able to be sent to the American Red Cross's Disaster Field Supply Centers through working with the Disaster Logistics Center, or the DLC, contacted via email at dlc@redcross.org. For pass-through, indicate the name and contact information for the recipient organization. The quantity and value of the leftover product should also be recorded. If you choose No, leave the remaining section blank. Now that all the information is entered, submit the form to create the 6455. Click Submit. Then click Go to Offer Record. After Go to Offered Record is clicked, the details you entered for the 6455 form will be visible. You are now able to review and edit if necessary. Review entry and edit any fields that need to be edited by clicking on the pencil sections. You can log back in and return to an entry at a later date if you need to correct or add additional details. Supporting documents can now be uploaded. Click Upload Files to upload all supporting documents. These include the 6409, Bill of Lading, packing slips, National Headquarters email conversations, etc. Form 6455 can now also be generated in PDF format. Click on Generate 6455 PDF format. On the next screen that appears, scroll to the bottom of the sheet and click Generate PDF. This screen will update after the 6455 is generated. At this time, you can click X to close the box. The 6455 will be uploaded to the Files section on the IKD offer. If you do not see the file, refresh the screen. Click on the file ID number to view the 6455. The 6455 resource form will populate. Rename the file by clicking on View File Details. At the top right, click Edit File Details. The file name will populate. Edit the file name with the following naming convention. Requisition number. Here the requisition number is 4123. 6455. DR number. Product or service provided, donor, date received, total value. Finish by clicking Next. Download the 6455 file and save in the Disaster Response Operations Team folder. The file can also be uploaded to the Supply Procurement Tracker or other places as needed. You have now successfully learned how to enter a 6455 record in the in-kind gift management system. You have also learned how to generate and upload the form in the proper areas for financial recording. For technical assistance with the gift management system, please put in a ticket through the IT portal via Volunteer Connection. For program questions or general support, please reach out to the National Headquarters In-Kind Donations at IKD Unit at redcross.org.